Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Maida from the Shared Edge, and that's Sincere clearing out some space for herself over there from Sunsea Airwell. And together we are the Edge of the Sun, and we get together to um, basically clear out our energy in all the different ways that's possible. Here we do our weekly energetic scrub. We also do coursework together, and we're also hosting a retreat together in March where we really seek to just start to get rid of whatever's stuck inside and make way for whatever we want to come in. So, Sincere will take us through a little bit of astrology, what's happening cosmically, so that we can better align ourselves to that. Then I'll work with the sound bowls, the sing bowls rather, to create a little sound meditation so that we can be guided along with that frequency. And then we'll have a little time for a discussion. And if you have any questions that come up or comments, please share them below, and we'll keep the conversation going as we can. So Sincere will start with her astrological take for today, and then we'll move from there.
Cool. Thanks, Maida Loretta. So the big news is happening this week is that there's a Gemini full moon. And it's a cold moon too, but I'll get into that in a second. But I just wanted to make a point to say that last week we talked about there were a lot of energetic things happening in Sagittarius, which is my sign. I gave myself a shout out. But Gemini is Maida's sign. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Maida. So Maida's sign is Gemini. So we're opposite signs from each other. But she's a Gemini, so she's getting some shine today. So does that make you feel special,
It
Maida?
does.
That's the goal. So anyway, so full moons are usually about releasing, right? So we're taking a moment to look at what it is that it is not serving us at this time, especially since we're at the end of a Gregorian New Year. So we can take a look and say, okay, what has not been working for us this past year, especially when we talk about communication and thoughts. So because that's what Gemini is usually known for, is about, being about communication and how we're thinking, our ideas, and so, a question that we can ask ourselves is, what are we communicating to ourselves? How are we communicating to ourselves at this time? What are you saying to yourself? Are you saying negative things? Are you beating yourself up? And why is some of that happening? There's also, or maybe it's like, what have you not said to others as well? What are you not saying to yourself? What are you not saying to others at this time? What is stuck in that throat chakra? Which is of course having to do with communication. So we're also in a cold moon now, and a cold moon has a lot to do with what lies beneath the surface. So again, it's that energy of what are we not saying? What's under the surface that needs to come out and be, as Maida says, in the light of the moon, which I thought was just so poetic. So like I said, this is a good time to reflect on these things, to think about what it is that we're not saying to ourselves. What are we not saying to others? Just what are we not communicating? What have we not expressed? So Maida is going to work her magic on the bowls to lend itself to helping us in that area.
And Sincere will also be providing some distance Reiki as well while she's over there. And then she'll also discuss afterwards what she has felt throughout the sound experience. And, it might be similar to what you experience or different, but all of it is just information that we can use to kind of help us align ourselves more to what needs to emerge.
I was so busy giving you the shine there, Maida, that I kind of forgot all about like my portion. But yeah, she's right. I'll be doing some distance Reiki, which can be experienced, by the way, at any time. So regardless of what time you're watching this, you can still receive the energy healing.
Great. Okay. So we'll be about, the sound meditation will be about 5 to 10 minutes. So hopefully you have a little bit of time carved out to just relax, close your eyes and listen. If you have headphones, it's recommended, but no worries. The energy will work its way through regardless. So just as easily as you can, just take this time out for yourself to really just tap in, because that's really the first step for any of these unblocking and scrubs, is to just give yourself that opportunity to do so. Um, so when you're ready, just take a few clearing breaths. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, a full breath in. And a full breath out. And last one, perhaps maybe even letting some sound emerge with that sigh out. Just clearing out the physical channel of this space in the throat. And if it's comfortable to let your eyes close, do so. If not, just let your eyes gently sink back. Just let yourself concentrate on the area of the throat. Does the physical space in this area feel tight or constricted? Do you notice the muscles gripping? Maybe even a clenching in the jaws. Or perhaps it feels a little bit more constricted energetically. Is there something you feel you need to say or express, but you feel that lump in the throat that prevents you from doing so? These might be words or feelings or thoughts that are seeking a voice. It might be an energy directed towards yourself, a part of yourself that seeks to express. Maybe you need forgiveness in some way. A part of your past or your present. That seeks a release. Or perhaps it's words to another. Something you wanted to say but couldn't. Allow yourself to just give voice to it. Free. No action has to be taken other than your simple presence of allowing these feelings and thoughts to emerge, to speak their truth. Take a full breath in through the nose. Exhale, big sigh out through the mouth. Keep sighing it out so you almost feel empty of breath. And then again, take a full breath in through the nose. Really fill up belly, ribs, chest, throat with breath. And then push it out. And then let belly, ribs, chest, and throat be soft as you just take a natural breath in and out. You're just taking a moment in silence, in presence with yourself, in presence with that which seeks expression, forgiveness, communication, whatever form it might have taken for you. And just letting yourself be with that for a moment without the need to have to act on it. And just letting it bathe in its own light. Knowing that when it's time, you will act. And then when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And maybe just shake out a little bit. And we'd love to hear what your thoughts on it. We're going to hear now Sincere, what she experienced throughout that. And, you know, just taking note if they resonate with you or not. And please, again, share with us what you did experience. So, what do you have, Sincere?
So the first thing I saw was coldness. Or so a lot of times whenever I see Melchizedek, well, first let me go back for a minute. First thing I saw was a mountaintops. Was it snow-capped mountain? And then I saw the sort of winter wonderland, and then Melchizedek showed up. And whenever I see Melchizedek a lot. Whenever I see him, it's usually in this wintry type of thing. Like I don't know if you ever saw those little Rankin Bass cartoons where the winter wizard, he was always like negative though, but you know, a bad guy. But Melchizedek is obviously not a bad guy. He's an ascended master, and he has a lot to do with teaching and learning, especially sacred geometry. So it kind of makes sense that Melchizedek made an appearance today because Gemini has a lot to do with learning and knowledge. So that, you know, seeking out reading symbols, that kind of thing. So yeah, so then there was a very icy scene, and then eventually as the sound bath progressed, it started to get warmer, and I actually saw ascended master Cordelia, a Celtic ascended master, or I guess deity you would call her, and she represents spring and warmth. So I thought it was interesting that it went from cold to warm. So, and I also thought the cold had something to do with the cold moon and just what we're about to enter into, which is of course the winter season. So this is a time of rest, and so I think we were just sort of being told that it's just time to, you know, think about things. Like, don't feel like you need to hurry up and rush into anything in terms of communication. Just, you know, take a moment to think before you speak, kind of thing. That's what I got out of that. And then I saw wolf howling at the moon. And that's another interesting thing because it immediately made me think of the throat chakra, and the wolf is getting out what it needs to get out. You know, there's a reason why the wolf howls at the moon. And I forgot there was it's so funny. I just looked up something about the wolf, and it had Native American symbolism, and it had something to do with, I can't remember, but I'll put it in the comments what it was because I can't remember off the top of my head. But in any case, howling at the moon has some sort of mystical thing. I think it has something to do with like the Sirius star system or something. In any case, and then I saw the ground rumbling, which again was, we talked about what's under the surface with the cold moon. So there's some things going on there that need to be said, or that's, you know, that's just not out there yet. And there was also a crystal ball. Again, it made me think of ice, but it also made me think of divination and just sort of what's trying to be said, what is trying to be communicated to you. And then I saw a Raggedy Ann doll, which again made me think of inner child. And it's funny because when you said inner child, you mentioned inner child, and then that's when the Raggedy Ann came up. And I also saw a bike, which made me think that it was something child oriented. And then I saw the Six of Cups card in tarot, which has to do with nostalgia, inner child, and it's also about, sharing your gifts, or so someone's giving something to you, like someone is sharing something, to you, or it could be the reverse if it's in the reverse position. It could be you sharing something with someone else. So again, maybe there's some childhood issues that are causing people not to express themselves the way that they would like to. Maybe they felt like that they didn't grow up in a home where they could do that. And I saw a light bulb, which again has to do with, and we saw that last time too, but Gemini ideas made sense. And like I said, there was warmth. And then the last thing I saw was an iguana, which I had to look up for a minute because I'll right offhand don't know what an iguana means, but it does say something about um, iguanas can read people like a book, and they can tell when people are lying or not lying or telling the truth. So maybe it's making sure when you're communicating with others that you're being honest, that you're being honest with yourself. And I think we were getting some encouragement there again to just express whatever we need to express, but just think about it before you go off and express. Just take a moment to go over it in your head.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this work that we do, it is just bringing stuff to the surface, and it can feel really kind of raw and like, oh my god, I need to like go and express that, you know. But also part of communication is knowing when it's appropriate for yourself, like when you feel really settled in what you want to communicate. Because if you've ever done that, like I love you to somebody or whatever, and then they're like, it's kind of like you got to read the room a little bit. So you make sure that yes, you might be feeling those, but you want to make sure that you feel really safe in that expression. Um, so, like we were saying, it is time, and this is a great time to just kind of reflect, be with yourself, kind of nurture it, so that when you do feel ready to express it fully, then it's like I can express it fully and let it whatever happens. So if that person's like, yeah, I don't feel that way. I don't know why that came to me as the reason, but just in terms
Oh,
of
that's perfect.
expressing a feeling and having it not be received, then you're kind of like, okay, that's okay. I said what I wanted to say and I'm good. As opposed to like, oh my God, I'm never going to do that again. And then we close ourselves up, because that can happen, especially when we are finally starting to voice those feelings. It can feel so raw. So it's like, take this time to sort of nurture that connection to yourself in communication, that inner child that is seeking to express itself. And then, parenting it as it does, as you need, so that when you are ready, it can feel like it's standing on its own legs and not get knocked down so quickly.
Yep, perfectly said. That makes so much sense. That's a great analogy. And we would love to hear if anyone else had any visions. And it's fine if you didn't, that's cool. We just like to hear whether or not there were some correlations or just whatever your thoughts were.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we
So thank you.
apologize for not doing it live as we were doing it. There is unfortunately a layer that is left behind in that, but it does, the actual session does work much better on this way. So we'll work it out and hopefully we can do it live. But if you have listened all the way through, thank you, and please let us know how that experience went for you. You can find us on Instagram, on our respective pages out there, through Minka, that also has a bunch of other wonderful practitioners, through our retreat at the Edge of the Sun. You can find us lots of ways. So hopefully we can keep communicating.
Sure, definitely. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next week.
Yeah.